Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Oh Yes Honey. I am Tracy.
And I am Jesse. And we are going to talk today about sex during menstruation.
Yes, how exciting.
I think we started
A
off this
taboo
conversation.
topic.
A topic that we're looking at maybe a little bit in hindsight now, at least for me, as I'm like so excited to be 2 months out of my cycling window, hoping for 12 months, hoping to be on the other side.
I haven't had a cycle since I was 37. So, but this is a taboo topic that you mentioned last week just in conversation. And I was like, this one is a really good one to explore. So, sex during menstruation.
Yeah, what came to mind for me was just recognizing, looking at all the ways that society kind of gives myths around this in terms of our cycle and our body, when in actuality, this window of time is such a deep expression of our creativity, our power, our sensuousness, and in this window, when menstruation happens, even the uterus is pulling in all kinds of blood flow and then getting ready to have this release. So if you can imagine how that same set of circumstances can also lead to arousal,
Mhm.
and so that totally rings true when actually people are real talking it. And so you gave a couple examples of real talk around the attraction in this period.
Yeah, I actually love the fact that the partners are so excited about it. And I think that is something that people are surprised to learn how partners can be so excited to participate in sex, male or female, with someone who is on their cycle.
Hmm.
I love that.
Let's I'm curious because I would like maybe to think about just like what people can get, what people think of, and what they confront maybe first in terms of their myths,
Yeah.
because like what's unspoken in terms of this, we have people that think it's unclean or unhygienic when actually this release of blood, like the uterus is the way that it functions, it is such a clean organ. It's self-cleaning and this releasing period.
Right.
Um, it might be a little messier and there are more bodily fluid exchanges, but isn't that's a kink in itself?
Put a towel down. Are there? What did you say last week? Like the rubber sheets or the sheets?
Oh,
The
there's blankets. There's the blankets that are waterproof blankets.
yes, put those down.
Hmm.
After,
Um, what else? I mean, other taboos. There have been religious things that say, oh, this person's dirty, don't touch them. Which I
right.
kind of wonder if there's like an underlying little perpetuation of like, well, yeah, just leave me alone, let me have my space. The middle of more of the red tent. I mean, which is totally okay.
Right.
Like,
And it could be. And it could be. But I think too, like anything where, here we go with my womanist mindset. Anything with the patriarchal approach is going to demonize women, womanhood, and anything that comes through and of us.
yes.
So they will say she's unclean, when in all actuality, we know that that's not the case. So
Yeah.
let's just like removing that myth. I think now we're in a sexually expressive time more so than not. The openness and people who are more open in being on the spectrum of sex, meaning like heterosexual to completely gay or to completely straight. That whole spectrum. We know most people live in the gray space. I think
Yep.
this is now the time to where we can openly have these kind of conversations without shame attached to it.
Hmm. And we're letting go of the shame piece. Like, it actually reminds me of the story because I was listening to this podcast last week that talked about this woman where she had met this man, instant attraction. They go, they go off, and she gets to to his space, and then she's like, "Oh, I can't do this with you right now because I'm on my period." And then he's like, "Oh no, babe, we're gonna get this on." So they have this hot encounter, and then she wakes up and it looks like a murder has happened.
The
And
massive
so she So she's like, he's totally sound asleep. So she like gathers up the sheets, shoves them in her bag, and she's like, and runs out. And then she's going down the street, and there was something happening, and she encountered the police, and they're like, we need to check your bag. And so they checked her bag, and then like, what's going on? And she's like, no. And she's like, now she had to go back. They escorted her back to his place to like uncover that this wasn't some murder case, that there was this, but it was such a walk of shame. And I think this was like probably every woman's like experience of like what culture, encountering culture versus reality. And in
Yeah.
reality, going back to these connections with partners, that there is actually like this is the ability to touch that place of our power. And so there's often a great deal of attraction.
Yeah.
Um, and for the person's body too, like more arousal. There's benefits, like it can be pain relieving. So
Yeah.
better sleep, an orgasm, better sleep. What are some
Shorter,
other benefits?
the shortness of the cycle itself. It
Mm,
shortens that. I mean, the pain relief is not only do you get the benefits of the pleasure, but you get the benefit of the pain relief in the shorter cycle in doing so. I mean, it's
yes.
just like, and I having that conversation with your partner, I think, being able to be in relationship with someone or having the open dialogue and having that conversation, that preliminary conversation to when would this be something that they want to explore?
Hmm. Well, let us know, folks. What are you thinking? Do you have experiences?
I know,
Hmm.
right? Let us know in the comments. We are totally interested. If you want to remain anonymous, don't forget you can send us an email and we will be sure to answer those questions or explore those topics. But we want to hear from you. We absolutely want to hear your stories, any myths, dispelling shame, anything else you want to add before we close out today?
Yeah, I'm really curious to hear people's comments. I would love to have some questions proposed to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is such
Hmm.
a good topic, and I love the fact that, here on Oh Yes, Honey, we work on dispelling the myths, but also adding the layer of education and, commentary through it all. So thank you guys so much for joining us on another edition of of Oh Yes, Honey. And
Hello, honey. That's the next one. I'm looking
okay. Searching for my boo. So be sure to speak to us in the comments. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. We want to make sure that we grow this channel. We want to make sure that YouTube knows that you want more content like this. We absolutely need your help. And this is something that we have to do, especially as smaller content creators. Let the algorithm know. And the way that we do that is through your support. All right. We thank you guys so
for.
much. We will see you next week.
Have a fun week.